I'm back with another brilliant chess problem by Sam Loyd, and this one is simply phenomenal. It's really beautiful. The solution is absolutely spectacular. And so, this time I want you to just go ahead, pause the video, and try to find the move that white should play here. It's white to play and checkmate in two moves. The solution is simply spectacular. So, you must take a pause and try to guess the move that white plays here. Alright, so I hope you guys come up with the correct move because this one is really beautiful. White has too many pieces, but he needs to give a checkmate in two move. That is a condition which we have been designated, whatever. Well, so it's white to play, checkmate in two. The first move that white should play here is rook to f3, and this is simply beautiful. Why is it beautiful? Well, because three pieces can capture the rook. The king can capture it, the bishop can capture it, and the knight can capture it. So three of black pieces can capture this, and still white is winning the next move. So let's have a look at one by one. What happens if the bishop takes the rook? Now the thing that happens is the first rank has been cleared out, and what we play is simple move queen to b1. The queen swings to the other side, and that is a very beautiful checkmate. All the squares are beautifully covered, and that's really nice checkmate. So that's too much of paint on the board, but yeah, anyway. So bishop takes f3 allows queen to b1. What happens if the knight captures? This time we get the access to the h file, and that's why we play queen to h7, and checkmate comes from this side of the board now, so the knight can't really move. Well, so the bishop cannot capture, the knight cannot capture. What happens if the king captures this time? What should we play? This time we play knight to g5, and that is again a very beautiful checkmate. All the squares are very nicely covered, and the king has absolutely nowhere to go. So that's beautiful. Going back, so nobody can really touch that rook. That rook is very well protected, very well immune tactically, and that's why it cannot be captured. All right, so what other moves does black have? He can move his bishop to e2. In that case, here comes the checkmate. Rook takes e2 is a beautiful checkmate, simple one. What happens if bishop a4? Again, the same story. Rook e2 is checkmate. And in fact, the same thing happens if the bishop goes to b3 or c2. In both cases, we'll play rook to e2, and that would be a checkmate. Alright, so bishop can't really move. The king has absolutely nowhere to go. What happens if the knight moves? Knight has two different squares. Obviously, we have seen what happens if he takes. He can go to f1, in which case, as you can see, the knight on h2 is guarding the g4 square. Once it goes to the f1 square, this square is no longer guarded, and white simply plays rook to g4. Very pretty checkmate. This rook is protected from the queen, and everything is excellent here. So knight can't go to f1. What happens if it goes to g4? Well, then simply rook takes g4 is a checkmate. Alright, so knight cannot move, bishop cannot move, the king has no moves. What happens if he moves the pawn? The thing is, now the e5 square is occupied by the pawn, and the king can't really escape via the e5 square. So what we can play is the very simple move, knight to g5. And now you can see the pawn is really blockading its way. If the pawn was back on e6, then the king might have stepped back to e5 and would have been safe. But the pawn blockaded his own way, and here comes a beautiful checkmate with knight g5. Excellent. So I really love this move, rook to f3. I think this was simply a phenomenal move uh, to as a solution, because all the pieces except the pawn, of course, all the black three pieces can capture the rook, and still we are winning the game. So hope you enjoyed this beautiful chess problem from Sam Loyd. Thank you for watching, and more videos are on the way.